What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now today I've got for you one entitled parent story which is going to make you angry and another which is going to make you laugh a lot. Here we go. My mother broke my wrist because I wouldn't ride a horse. My mother is not a good person, and when thinking of ways to describe her, a few names come to mind. Annie Wilkes from Misery and Margaret White from Carrie, just to name a few. Stephen King depicted my mother quite nicely in those books. Since a very early age, my mother was mentally and physically abusive towards me and my older brother, who's autistic. This is a story of one of those occasions, of which there were many. I think I was about 8 years old at the time. My younger sister was my mum's golden child. She lived up to all of Mother Dearest's high expectations and liked doing everything that our mum did, like riding horses. Now, I was never interested in doing any of it, probably because of her poor treatment towards me for most of my childhood. My mum and dad had separated when I was very young, but they were civil around each other for the benefit of me and my siblings. At this point, my dad and family members on my dad's side didn't know the things my mum did to me and my brother. I can remember this day so vividly. We were visiting my aunt and her husband, my dad's sister, who lived on a farm. They were all interested in riding horses, but knew that I wasn't, which was never an issue to them. My mother, on the other hand, wasn't so understanding. My sister, who was 5 years old at the time, was riding around on a Shetland pony with my uncle walking beside her, and I was sitting on the veranda watching her. My brother had walked off down the driveway a few hours before this, so was nowhere in sight. He's high-functioning autistic and was fine to be on his own. He was 11 and this was in a small and safe rural town. While sitting and watching, my mother walked up to me. My dad was with my aunt on the other side of the farm. My mum said, "Why won't you come and ride with your sister?" "Because I don't want to." "Oh, don't be a spoiled brat. Get up off your lazy butt now." "Mum, you know I don't like riding horses and I'm not good at it. Just please don't make me." My mum then got visibly angry. "Get up now, you lazy little POS." She grabbed me by my wrist and pulled me hard and fast forward off the chair. I felt a sharp pain in my wrist as she pulled and I screamed out in pain. "Mum, you're hurting me. Stop my wrists. Stop being a sook and get up." My wrist hurt so bad and began to throb in pain, but whenever I said something about it, Mum just accused me of faking it. She walked me over to where my dad and aunt were, with my mum dragging me by my now broken wrist, and when we got there, my dad noticed I was crying. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Mum was squeezing my wrist to keep me from saying anything. "She's fine. She wants to ride a horse." "No, I don't." I was cut off. "Yes, you do. You want to ride the big horse, don't you?" All of my objections were ignored by my mum, and she made my dad help me onto a horse, bareback. The big horse was a Clydesdale. Anyone who knows anything about horses will know that a Clydesdale is far too big for an average inexperienced horse rider, let alone an 8-year-old girl. And this horse was easily spooked, so having a new person on his back that didn't know what they were doing was enough to spook him. He jerked forward quickly and bucked me off. I landed in the grass with my hands taking most of the impact, which made the pain in my wrist even worse. The impact wasn't hard enough to break my wrist, but it was already broken before I'd even gotten onto the horse. My mum came rushing over to me to see if I was okay. I was crying in pain and grasping onto my wrist. My mum was doing her best fake concerned mother act. "Oh, you poor thing, are you okay? Let me help you up. My wrist, it hurts. Oh no, you must have broken it when you fell." Dad took me to the hospital and my wrist was broken. When I told Dad that my mum broke my wrist, he didn't believe me. Not because he was a neglectful parent, but because he saw me fall onto my hand, so he put 2 and 2 together. Most of my cries for help as a child fell on deaf ears. I spent the next 8 weeks with my wrist in a cast, which made school hard, as I couldn't hold a pen. It was my right wrist and I'm right-handed. I want to say that this was the worst thing my mother has done to me, but I'm sad to say it isn't. I'm no longer in contact with her, and my life is better without her in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen like a massive story from this same OP before, where he goes through every single event that has, had a massive impact on his life, in which his mother has been incredibly entitled and done crazy stuff like this. And yeah, I can tell you from reading that post, yeah, that is not the worst thing that she's ever done. There's so much worse, and there's just so much more. That's the main point. This mum just continues to get worse and worse throughout this guy's life. And yeah, thank God OP is now not in contact with her anymore. Should have done that a long time ago, let's be realistic. It's kind of poor of your dad to not really see what was going on though. I mean, like for me reading it and for you lot, you know, listening to this video, watching this video, surely it's quite clear that this entitled mum was just crazy the entire time. But if the dad didn't see it, then I'm going to be honest, I think that's a little bit of blame on him, because he should have seen that way earlier and he should have listened to you way earlier. As you said, all your, you know, complaints as a child fell on deaf ears, which is yeah, it's a bad thing, you know. It doesn't put your dad in the best light, let's just say that. Now guys, before we move on to the next story, I've firstly got to say a big thank you to the kind sponsor of today's video, the Ridge Wallet. Now, if you've not heard of the Ridge Wallet, I've got one here, you know, I've been using it for the last few months. If you've not heard of it, you might be thinking to yourself, what is it, just a wallet? And well, yeah, you are kind of right, but no, it's so much more than that. First of all, size comparison. This is my old boy. This is the new one, incomparable in size. I like things that are small in my pocket so they don't annoy me when I sit down, get up, move around, you know, run, that sort of stuff. It's just, the comparison is not even there, guys. This is way too big. This is perfect in size and it's just way easier to live with. Second of all, it's super easy to store cards in here. I mean, I don't carry too many around, but it's easy to fit loads in. And at the back right here, you can put all your cash in, so very, very simple stuff. And thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, this has a lifetime guarantee. Do you know what that means, right? If anything ever goes wrong with it, you can get it replaced. I mean, like, that is ridiculous. That is how much these guys back their product. It's got a lifetime guarantee. Can't believe I'm saying it. Unbelievable stuff. So guys, if you want one of these, they come in loads of different colors as well. Like, here's another example. Head down to the description, the pinned comment, the link's on screen right now. Go and check it out. 10% discount if you use the link, and yeah, enjoy. Now for our second post, get ready for this one. Santa calls out entitled woman on her BS. Hi, I work in an aquarium, and during the month of December, Santa visits and swims around the tank and talks to kids. It's an awesome thing, and something different than the normal stuff around here. This event happened a week before Christmas 2019. So, when Santa comes to the aquarium to swim with the sharks, he brings his elves with him to help talk to the children. I was one of these elves this year, my first year, and maybe my only year because of this single woman. So we were doing our normal thing, and I was on the mic talking to kids and translating child speak for Santa to hear. Keep in mind, he is in the tank and we use special microphones and earpieces so everyone can communicate and it's projected in the room. In between children, my manager comes up and explains that there is a young boy. He's mute and just wants a picture. I'm like, yeah, sure, anything. I was honestly just happy to be there and making $1 more than my normal pay. Yeet. So we get to the young boy. He's like 9 and just stared as I directed him and his mum to Scuba Santa. Mum takes the mic and talks to Santa. Hi Santa, this is boy. He doesn't say much, so is it okay if we just get a picture? Santa says, of course. And then he poses for the picture. I'm standing off to the side, out of the way of the picture, checking the time, as we had to get Santa a break. Air tanks only hold so much air. As I'm getting ready to call the dive team to get the new tank ready, there is a pop in my earpiece. I look up to the microphone and the boy is holding it. His mum steps back towards me and we all just watch. At this point, there was a small line forming, but we weren't worried about it. This was going to be the last child before the 5-minute break. The boy said, Santa, for Christmas, I want a truck. The entire room goes silent and the mum starts crying before looking and explaining that he hasn't spoke in over 6 months. So I let him ramble to Santa for a bit. Most is lost because it was rambling, but the boy was loving it and no one in line seemed to mind. This really was a Christmas miracle of some sorts. Enter the entitled woman. She was in her 30s, with her friends, wanting a picture with Santa. Whatever, I didn't care. The boy finished his babble and went to say goodbye. But this woman yells over the crowd, if he isn't gonna say real words, get him off the mic. My other elf friend was going to confront her as I was mic'd in and whatever I would say would have been everywhere. But before they could get to her, Santa's voice comes over the speakers. Now, fun fact about this particular Santa is that he was a no-nonsense kind of guy in the first place, and in this instant, he became my best friend. Why don't you shut your pie ho-ho-ho? Now, because he heard this, it meant that she said it loud enough for my mic to pick it up and project it across the room. She was so red, but stayed in line, and Santa finished with the boy. Then I start my signal to Santa to let him know that he needs to go up for a new tank. Santa, Mrs. Claus has some new cookies she wants you to try. Now folks, Santa will be back after a short milk and cookie break. Normally people agree and it's no big deal. We play games with the kids, sing a couple songs, and before you know it, Santa is back. But today, this woman was not having it. Oh, come on, you have a whole line here and he's just leaving? He'll be right back, I promise. And then I go into a song. The woman threw a fit, screaming, cursing us out, making a real scene. And I had left my mic on, but while the song was playing, it wasn't projecting her, but Santa could still hear her screaming. Eventually, he came back and finally got to her in line. I reluctantly let her go up and I step out of the way for a picture after she told me that if I was anywhere near the picture, she would have my head. I had security on standby and they were ready to walk her out because I don't want to see that sort of horse poop, not in my aquarium. And then the best thing ever happened. Santa said to the woman, "Now, ho, hold on here. Are you the woman who yelled at the little boy?" There was silence, like no one moved. "And threw a fit when I had to go try Mrs. Claus's new cookie recipe?" She just sat there staring at him. "I'll have you know that that makes you number 1 on the naughty list. We need to be compassionate and nice to others. My elves here are just doing what I've instructed them to do, and you are yelling at them. That's not in the spirit of the holidays. You need to apologize to everyone you have been mean to, and then go to the end of the line and wait again. Until that is done, I am not taking a picture with a naughty person." I was hyped. The woman was a female dog. She ended up storming away, screaming for a manager. I believe she found one, but was escorted out with no picture. The boy got to meet Santa out of the tank and got a super special picture with him and all his elves. He's a regular at the aquarium and likes to show us new words he learned. It's amazing, and the diver is my favorite dude forever and always. Oh mate, this diver is an absolute legend. I mean, I love the fact that even when he was staying in character as Santa, he still, said exactly what he wanted to say to this entitled woman. Put her right back in her place, said to her, you've got to be compassionate, you've got to listen to other people, you can't just butt in and ruin this lovely young boy's moment. So yeah, amazing that he stayed in character, but also told this entitled woman what she needed to hear. Perfect stuff. The guy's an absolute legend. Like, think about it. Can you imagine if Santa hadn't said anything and this woman literally would have just ruined the boy's day? What a momentous occasion for the boy as well. Speaking for the first time in so long. It's crazy. Yeah, imagine if Santa hadn't stood up. That is why everyone loves Christmas, for people like this, and Santa's like this guy. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Entitled Parents. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on the video, comment your opinions down below on these 2 stories, and watch some more straight away. There's videos up on the screen right here, and there's a subscribe button up here. Check out the merch right here. Everything's on screen. Also, please go down in the description, and remember to check out the Ridge wallet. It's a great wallet. Trust me, I know. I've used it for about, 3 months now, and I've loved every second.